We have finally got to the last day of bowl games, and these are all my picks for the bowl games on January 1st. If you want to see my in-depth reason why I'm picking the first 3 bowl games, make sure you check out my previous previews for those bowl games because I'm just going to be focusing mostly on the playoff. In the Citrus Bowl, I like Tennessee over Iowa. In the ReliaQuest Bowl, I like LSU over Wisconsin. And in the Fiesta Bowl, I like Oregon over Liberty. Here we are. These are the playoff games. Let's get into the first one in the Sugar Bowl between Washington and Texas. I have thought about this game a lot. Texas probably has the better holistic team. They probably have higher talent than Washington and a better line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. They have an elite quarterback in Quinn Ewers and a great coach in Steve Sarkisian who just knows how to win games. But I'm taking Washington. Everything I just talked about for Texas isn't that far off from Washington. Kalen DeBoer is a fantastic coach. Michael Penix just finished second in the Heisman. Their line of scrimmage is battle-tested against Oregon twice in the Pac-12, and their defense in the second half of the season has held on to win games. But Washington has an ace up their sleeve that Texas doesn't have. Their passing offense relative to Texas is a better ace than anything that Texas has up against Washington. If you look at every game that Texas was in a close battle with, including that loss against Oklahoma, you notice that all of those teams were primarily passing offenses. And it's not going to bode well for them that Washington is the #1 passing offense in the entire country. Washington's top 3 receivers, Rome Odunze, Jalen Polk, and Jalen McMillan, almost have 3,000 yards together. And Texas's passing defense, which is barely inside the top 100, is going to struggle to cover all 3 of those guys. I think Washington is going to go out once again and prove they should not be an underdog. So give me Washington in the Sugar Bowl. And now we move on to the Rose Bowl between Michigan and Alabama, which will probably be as good as the Sugar Bowl. This was a game I really struggled with for almost the entire month between conference championships and right now. Michigan has been totally dominant all year long. They probably should have been the #1 team throughout the course of the season, and they're the deepest team that I've ever seen in person. Even through all the sign-stealing allegations, Michigan didn't seem to be fazed by it at all. Going out there and beating Penn State and Ohio State with an interim coach, it just shows you how well built Michigan is. The Tide, on the other hand, have been like a snowball this year. At first, Alabama wasn't all that great, but once they got rolling, they were really rolling. We know what we are going to see from Michigan, a complete, holistic offense and defense that is going to have a solid game. And we've seen 2 versions of Alabama this year. The early version that struggled a bit at times and didn't have an identity, and then the version of Alabama from about mid-October on who looked like a complete Alabama Nick Saban team. What Nick Saban was able to do to get this Alabama team to go from that struggling game against USF in the 3rd week of the season to the Georgia game has been nothing short of remarkable. I think you give Nick Saban and this Alabama team a whole month to prepare for Michigan. I don't think they're going to lose this game. I'm picking the Tide to roll in the Rose Bowl. I think they're going to go on and beat Michigan in a super close matchup, which is going to rival the playoff of last year. So in my playoff picks, I am officially picking Alabama against Michigan and Washington against Texas. If you stay till the end though, make sure to drop who you're picking in the playoff because I'm super curious to see who you guys are going to take.